We're opening on episode 3. It's early morning, probably 6, 7 a.m. Sun's just starting to come up. You see Carmy down by the water. And then you hear "Let It Rip." Now we get to see Carmy at his first meeting, trying to ease the pain of losing his brother. We go from a calm setting straight into a shit show at the restaurant. Richie completely losing his shit, just screaming out orders because he doesn't know how to use a computer. And we see Sydney come out and hit him back with, "If you could learn how to use the new equipment." As Carmy's talking with Marcus about this dish, you have Sydney walking around, getting ready, grabbing things. And then at the very end of it, explaining this dish and how they accomplished it, Marcus says, mission accomplished. Good job, And she kind of gives him a look of annoyance, and it feels degrading. It feels like she's looking down on him because of the way he's talking. And this is kind of the moment where you can start to see she's becoming the chef that she doesn't want to become. Aggressive and short-tempered and annoyed by everyone at the Beef. Carmy asked for Sydney for a quick meeting where he talks about how the week before was a complete shit show. If you saw the first 2 episodes, you can see that it was bad. Every moment of it was bad, service-wise. But he says there's one way we can fix this: old school brigade system. And I love her answer, which is respectfully no. Because when you try and implement a brigade system, which is one chef calling out tickets, the entire team calling back the order or calling back their orders, everyone saying "yes, chef" in unison, like we saw in the flashback at Love Messon Park. That's a brigade system. When you implement them at a restaurant like this for the first time, some of these people have been working at the Beef for probably 25 years. It doesn't go well. It goes very, very poorly because it's a hierarchy and a class system. And of course, as the meeting is starting, Richie is late again and comes in with absolutely no respect, talking shit on the new blue aprons he's giving out, talking shit on Escoffier, the father of basically modern cooking, and just being an all-around dickhead before just walking out on the meeting and then handing it off to Sydney. Then we have the first lineup shift meeting where we talk about the hierarchy. Carmy talks about how it's been a shit show for a while and how they need to harness it. He's not trying to change anything, he just wants to harness what they have and make it better. And when he passes off to Sydney, letting everyone know that she's going to be in charge, half of the staff roll their eyes, especially Tina. Tina wants nothing to do with it. After Sydney talks about the fact that the hierarchy bullshit and it's toxic is going to not work, Ibrahim, and he goes, "Oh, so we're talking about a hierarchy?" She goes, No, not like a normal chill archy. Tina wants nothing to do with it. It's going to take a lot of time to get them to the point that Carmen wants them to be. And she says it perfectly. When you implement something like this, it's going to create chaos and it's going to create major resentment for the new person who just came in and is now your boss, who might be 10 or 20 years younger than you are. Carmy walks away to answer the phone. As he answers the phone, it's some guy named Nico looking for Michael, who clearly doesn't know that Michael killed himself. And it starts to give us little insights into the fact that Michael was in it with some not so awesome people. And because of that, it gives Carmy an instant panic attack. His tightness in his chest, he's having trouble breathing. He can start hearing Michael's voice in the background yelling, and it's taking its toll on him, which, as a chef, we're not always good about taking care of ourselves, like I said before. And so instead of taking care of himself and going to meetings, maybe doing some fucking yoga or getting a massage, stuff like that, he's not taking care of himself. So he's not sleeping. Anxiety is getting worse. His panic attacks are coming now. It takes hold sometimes, especially in this industry. It's a hard industry. And since he hasn't faced his guilt yet, it's starting to really affect him. Jump right back to the staff meeting. The benefit of a brigade system is that everyone is in charge of their section, their list. This is what they do You are responsible for your station or whatever you're doing, which can make things very easy in the fact of when you have conversations about why are we out of something, I don't have to look for three people. I can look at the one person who's supposed to be prepping it. Also, the person on that station be like, hey, this ain't working out, or hey, this will work out better. And then gets to Marcus, which is a perfect example of it, how it benefits, where he says, I'm the patissier, he's the pastry chef, and he says, I could do a chocolate cake if we outsource the bread, which will free up more oven space. So if you just do sandwiches, if you're only doing a sandwich and you want to bake your own bread, that kind of makes sense. The thing is, that's a full-time position when you could outsource bread for under $1 a piece. So outsourcing the bread frees up oven space, also allows him to make a chocolate cake or work on other desserts. So they can actually increase their profits by having new desserts on the menu that they couldn't do before because they didn't have enough oven space, because there was bread going in probably every 20 minutes. They're finishing up their meeting. They're talking about like pre-shift meetings, basically a beginning of the day meeting, you have a pre-shift meeting, you have a post-shift meeting. That's what a lot of more fine dining restaurants do, is you have a beginning, middle, and end meetings basically every single day to make sure everyone's on track. A lot of people call it housekeeping at the end of the night. We're doing housekeeping, which is everyone is cleaning out their stations and we're talking about what we can do better, how we can fix things every single day, because we're always trying to get better every single day. And Carmy goes flying out there, sorry, gotta go, which we can see that his panic attacks are actually getting much worse than we saw literally 2 minutes earlier, to the point where he had to rush out and get to a meeting to kind of release that stress, that energy. And we're back to Sydney and showing like her stress level. We already saw how she's trying to be like kind of overconfident. Beginning of the episode, she's trying to grab something off the top shelf and she's not a tall person. So Marcus offers help and she's like, no, I got it, because she's trying to show to the team that she doesn't need anyone's help. She can do everything on her own. We fast forward a little bit. Now we're in service, or getting ready for service, and she's like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna check out the walk-in. And this is a chef tactic. When I've had too much, when you're all annoying me, I haven't had a moment's silence since walking in the door, I'll go in the walk-in. It's a nice, cool, cold environment. The sound of the fan, it's beautiful. And she goes in, just takes a deep breath and goes, yeah, looks great in here, all right, and then moves out. Now she's going on her sous chef duties, which is she's going to each station and checking on everyone, making sure that they are doing what they're supposed to. And the first problem is we have Tina, who Tina still does not respect her at all, and she won't respect her for some time. And she goes, you're supposed to be on vegetable prep, but she's doing peppers and onions, something that was not on her list. And of course there's kickback, it's a fight back and forth with Tina, because she doesn't want a new system. She likes the way things are going. She doesn't want to be told what to do. The stress level is high at this point, especially for Sydney, and it is every day in most restaurants for a sous chef or CDC. So she walks in, she's after her interaction with Tina, she's trying to get past Marcus, who's having a conversation, and she reaches over and there's an open box cutter for some reason, and she slices her hand open, and you can see how she's just breaking down slowly, piece by piece, in the scene, because she's like, no, I don't need your help. Tina basically flat says, lose the attitude. And now you can also see that some of the team is starting to jump on board. They like the changes. They want to be better. They know the beef can be so much better and they want it. Tina is still on the fence. And she looks at them, she goes, you two with your blue aprons look like you joined the dumbass cult. And in unison, they say,
thank you.
She feels like she's losing her way. She feels like she won't have a place to belong anymore because she's being replaced. And because Tina is feeling like she doesn't belong and feeling like she's being replaced, she hates Sydney at this point, so she has decided that she's going to sabotage her by cranking her veal stock all the way up. When you make stock, you never want to boil. You always want to be at a simmer. You never bring it up to a boil. You just bring it up really low to simmer, and it just sits there all day long, getting on all the flavors and all the nutrients. Tina hates it, so crank all the way up to high. I've had this happen to me. It's a part of the hazing ritual. I don't condone it, but it happens. Carmy gets back to the restaurant, and the tensions are running high, to say the least. You have Tina, who sabotaged Sydney. She's not doing the prep that Sydney has asked her to do, so she's all over the goddamn place. Things are getting done. The stock was boiled, so then it's cloudy. It's not nice and clear like they need it to be. So Carmy gets back to the restaurant, And you can see the tensions. You can feel the tension from the screen. Tina doesn't want to listen to Sydney. He's been sabotaged. Things aren't going the way they're supposed to. Tina was supposed to be working on onions, but she's not, because that wasn't her job before. So she's not going to do a new job. And this is what I do. I do this every day. I don't do that. Carmen is slowly becoming the chef that he hates as well. Whereas all you say to me is, yes, chef. And there's a really toxic interaction between Sydney and Carmy, which is Carmy just repeating, yes, chef, waiting for her to say yes, chef back. And because onions weren't done, now she has to go and do someone else's job on top of the job she was already doing. And now the next level of sabotage for Sydney is they took her onions and hid them. She's getting angrier and angrier because everything is going wrong for her. It's not up to her standards. It's part of paying your dues. And this is true for a lot of kitchens that have been around for many, many years. You come into a new you come in as a new person, and you will be hazed for weeks. That's just part of the kitchen culture, or at least it was part of the kitchen culture. So the anger is taking full control of Sydney at this point, which happens to the best of us and the worst of us. But she's also doing a disservice to herself and her staff, because she is now becoming cocky. This happens to younger chefs, where if you ask if they need help, they always say, no, I don't need help. I don't need your help. I don't need you. Would you ask this person their help? It's okay to ask for help, but most young chefs just won't ask for help. Think that people helping them is somehow a bad thing. Like, it's a negative thing, as if needing someone's help for anything. If you can't physically do something, like she can't in the scene, it's a 22 quart of veal stock weighing 45 to 50 pounds. That's above her head. She's going to try and pull it off. She's probably not strong enough. She's also not tall enough to reach it. Marcus asks if she needs help, and she's like, no, I don't need your help. Would you ask Carmy if he needed help? It's not a good thing. And it happens far too often in our industry, where people are like, no, I don't need anyone's help. It's okay to ask for help. And Marcus is a good soldier. He's a good person. He opens the door, sees it, doesn't say a goddamn word. He just grabs towels and starts helping scrape everything up, clean up the walk-in as quickly as possible, because service about to start. He doesn't say a single word. He just sees the problem, goes, all right, fixing it, and allows her breathing room. Carmen's looking at the books, which this is an old school place I think they just got a computer with Carmy taking over, so everything's in books. So he's looking at the books, the money, and none of it makes sense. And you're getting more and more details about what, like, Mikey wasn't or was doing when he was in charge before he killed himself. And a quick pan to Sydney, who's doing kitchen surgery. Everyone has done this, where you've cut yourself pretty bad or maybe burned yourself. It's typically cuts, especially in your fingers. You'll have a bad cut, and then you will wrap it in the Band-Aid. You'll disinfect it the best you can, wrap it in a Band-Aid, maybe some tape, and then throw a glove on it. Tape the wrist so blood can't get out. Then maybe throw another glove on top of it. And so when she pulls it off, the entire finger of the glove is just filled with blood. And now she has to wash everything off and start all over again. After Sydney completes her kitchen surgery, she goes outside for, like, you know, the air. Carmen comes walking up with the standard kitchen eating and drinking utensil, which is the deli cups. It's a quart container, and asks if he brings Sydney, and then asks if he could chill for a minute, and he wants to connect. Then she just kind of unloads, which is a good thing, because it's communication. Communication too late, but it's still communication. And she's telling him how he kind of abandoned her today, and he did. How the brigade system, she said, was not going to work, and he kind of forced it upon her, and it just kind of fell apart. But she can see the potential in the bear, which is important for a young chef like her. You can see the potential in something, and you want to do everything in your power to make it work, to the point where nothing else matters. That becomes your entire life. You want to make this matter. And so she starts breaking down exactly what they need to change. The connection between a sous chef and the CDC are very important. They are the two pieces of the puzzle that keep usually the entire restaurant running every day. So Carmy opens up about his brother. They connect a little bit. There's a small connection, but Carmy's still taking on too much because he thinks he has to do it all for the most part. 90% of the people working in the industry hate brunch, with an absolute passion.
Fuck brunch.
It is the worst service there is. The people are more demanding.
Oh, absolutely.
The beef is closing into the shift, and Carmy walks out to see multiple missed calls from his sister and voice message saying that it's Michael's birthday, and she was thinking of him. And at this point, like the good chef he is still pretty much blocking out all emotion and not embracing it. So it's still building up inside him, the sadness, the anger. And we're at the end of the episode. Carmy is still not really taking the actions he needs to get better. The restaurant's clearly falling apart in every way, and you can see everyone's mental stability breaking a little bit here and there because everyone's all over the place. And until Carmy gets his shit together, because he is the chef, until he gets it together and addresses the problems he's having, it's going to continue to go down the bad path. I've been there on both ends of the spectrum. You need to take care of yourself. Therapy's okay. Therapy is awesome. Talk to someone. That's it. And this is the first episode you're watching. If you want to click here, you can see the 2 previous episodes of Bear Season 1, Episode 1 and Bear Season 1, Episode 2 breakdowns.